and the steersmen have got to be good.
We're coming up on 3.5 hours, and this is the 1985 Banco Molokai Hoe. And as you can see right behind us, or in between us, this is the Tahiti team, and they're out in front. And they had just made a critical move, started turning in a southerly direction towards Diamond Head.
That's correct, because as the swell starts to come in towards Oahu, it's going to run it downwards, and they do have to clear Diamond Head. So when they turn, they get the swell behind them, do some surfing, and pick up some ground. What the Tahitians are going to have to do, though, are keep their changes very clean. They've gotten sloppy. Illinois is right behind them, breathing down their necks. If they've got better changes, they've got a good chance of going right past them.
Okay, let's look at the teams that are a little further back. In particular, the defending champs, Outrigger. They're running currently in 6th place right now, and this turn downwards towards Diamond Head could prove to be a factor.
It certainly could. Again, the main idea is to get the most you can out of the wave and ground swell. It puts you out in front. It makes the paddling a lot easier on your paddlers.
Meade, is this a real rough section now coming in through, well, we'll say about 4 or 5 miles off of Cocoa Head?
Yes, it definitely will be. Once they get directly off Cocoa Head, there's an area where the currents tend to move around in circles, and you can make very limited progress at that point.
That tends to favor the Hawaiian crews, which are a little bit more experienced paddling in this rough waters. We said earlier that the Tahitians don't usually practice in rough water. They practice in calm water, but they are keeping their strokes up. They're paddling close to 70, high 70s, 80s strokes a minute, and that is pretty fast.
It is very fast, and if they're the first ones to get to the calm, sheltered waters, their boat's going to pick up and fly.
Okay, that's going to be interesting to see when they do get into calm waters, if they can hold that lead. We're coming up on a crew change here from the Tahiti team, and the reason why we are showing you this is because it appears to be that the Tahitians are slowing down a little bit after the crew change, and they're in a real treacherous part of this channel here where everything comes to a stalemate as far as the canoe, and when the new paddlers jump in.
That's true, Russell. What's happening is the Tahitians are really getting slow on their changes. The boat's coming almost to a complete stop. Illinois Brigade now is perhaps 200 yards behind them and gaining. Here's the actual change. 6 is going into 5, and as you can see, the boat went to a complete stop. They have to pick it up, get it rolling again. Valuable distance lost.
And also valuable strength loss, as they must expend extra energy to try to get that canoe back in motion. Now, by contrast, the Illinois Brigade, and we just looked at them just a little while ago, their changes are going really smooth, really good. They're not losing any time at all when they change paddlers.
Well, that's one of the things with this race. You know, the people who make the fewest mistakes are generally going to come out on top. You got some smooth changes, well timed, the boat doesn't slow down, you're going to make ground at everyone else's expense.
4.5 hours have elapsed in this race, and you are looking at possibly a new leader right here. The Illinois Brigade, they have caught up, and they are now passing the Tahitian team that has led all race long. We're going to see a change right here by the Illinois Brigade, a very risky change at this point.
Yes, we'll be able to compare, and if they keep their boat rolling, they'll make ground on it. Right now, Tahiti is also bailing. That'll slow them down and help equalize the effects of this change.
This is neck and neck right now as Illinois comes with the change. There goes the number 2. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 have changed right now. Tahiti moves out in front now, but just not by much, as Illinois picks up their paddles, start to get that. Lost some time there, Meade. There it is. That's been plaguing these boats all day long.
They had a very bad change, but they also had a bad change by strategy. They changed 1, 2, and 3. That virtually will stop the boat no matter how good or effective the change is.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, and 3 that Illinois has changed. They still haven't got all their paddles in the water yet. Only now they start to get their paddles. It is the Tahitian team by at least an outrigger canoe and maybe a half. This is exciting. This is what it's all come down to. Tahiti was out in front by a large margin, but the Illinois Brigade did not give up. They made the right moves. They've selected the right course, and now they passed them, and now they are just behind them because they went into a crew change.
Right now, things are very critical. They have to get their boats running smoothly, keep their heads inside the boat. Once they get to Diamond Head, it's a whole nother ball game. The conditions can wreak havoc on anybody at any time.
This is something that we haven't seen in a lot of canoe races here in the Molokai Channel Crossing, is a race, and we are having an exciting one here today. I'm excited.
Certainly is. As you look, we've got less than a boat difference between the two. This one's going to go down to the wire.
are seeing the Illinois Brigade as they stride and paddle ever so strongly as they're going to pass the Tahitian team. Oh, what a pass. You are looking at a dynamic race. A team that was pretty far margin behind, a ways back, and now they are just surging past the Tahitian team. Look at the strokes. You can see the difference in the stroke. The long, smooth, gliding strokes of the of the Illinois Brigade, and the short, quick, slap-like strokes of the Tahitians. There you go. You're running 1-2. Tahitians out in front by just a half a canoe. It's exciting. This is what it's all come down to. We've never seen a race like this before in the Molokai race.
It's beautiful. You've got a half a canoe distance, and they're pulling against each other. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right, Meade. I mean, words cannot describe this action here. This is a 40-mile race, and just to think here with about, how many miles would you say to go?
I'd say we got about 5 to 6 miles from this point.
5 to 6 miles to go. It has come down to just 2 canoes. The rest of the field, they're behind. Don't even worry about them. It's between these 2 canoes. As you see, the Tahitians with the yellow trimming on the left side, and the Illinois Brigade with the red trimming on the right. What a battle. What a duel. This is it on the high seas. 2 tremendous teams going at it neck and neck, and there's another surge by the Illinois Brigade. Illinois has taken the lead. They surge past the Tahitian team, and they are looking ever so strong. It just looks like they just don't want to quit.
They certainly don't, and that's what it takes. When you go to the wall, you got to bust right through it and just keep going.
The canoes are approaching majestic Diamond Head. There you see it in the background, majestic Diamond Head. And some of the people up there on the cliffs are watching an exciting race. And as you can see, Illinois Brigade, they're out in front, and they're making a crew change. 1, 2, and the number 3 positions. Here comes the Tahitians right behind. They got to pick up the stroke really fast. They're going to lose some time off this. There has been 3 lead changes up until this point, and it seems like the Tahitians are picking up the steam, playing off the fact that the Illinois Brigade did have to make a crew change, and there you see a lead change, the 4th one of this race so far. Tahitians are now out in front, but not by much.
Illinois had a real bad change just to start with because it was 1, 2, 3. Again, that'll tend to stop the boat cold. They were slow in picking up all the paddles and getting on the water again.
Earlier we said this might have been a 2-canoe race, but let us not forget, offshore, lurking in the wings back there. They're only about maybe 500 to 600 yards back offshore. They've won this before. They can possibly do it again.
You know, Billy Whitford is probably one of the more experienced non-Hawaiian steersmen. He has a distinct advantage over these 2 crews because he knows what Diamond Head holds in store. He has taken some time out further down to make an outside course on Diamond Head. Right now, the Tahitians and Illinois are inside, and if a wave set comes through, it could be catastrophic.
Meade, this is exactly what's been happening for the last hour or so. Changes after changes. We've had 4, and we might have another one right here as Illinois makes a surge. There they go, a surge past the Tahitian team, and they are stroking very hard, very hard. The quick count that the Tahitians have seems to be slowing just a bit, just a bit.
It certainly is, and right now Illinois is even slower than the Tahitians, but that's the way they've been paddling their race. Right around 60 strokes a minute. Tahitians are around 66 right now.
Let me ask you, Meade, you've raced in these things before. When you're side by side one another like that, something has to be going through your mind. You're not only competing against the water, the rough surf, and yourself, but you're looking over there and you're seeing your opponent, and that has to bring in another added pressure.
It does, and what you have to try and do is screen that out. Keep your eyes and your mind in the boat. Think about what you're doing with the other 5 paddlers. It's the crew that thinks about the other canoe that loses out in situations like this.
This is Russell Shamoka back with the Banco Molokai Hoe, and we are rounding Diamond Head here, heading towards the Fort DeRussy finish line, and out in front is the men from Illinois, the Illinois Brigade, and what a story they have been. The second place team is Tahiti. They are the ones that have led this race practically from the get-go. But as you can see, this has been the story, the charge of the brigade, the charge of Illinois, and they are opening up a considerable margin against Tahiti. But Tahiti is not to be outdone. They will come back. They're a team that doesn't let something like this get them by. They led this race the entire time. But now it is the Illinois Brigade that is out in front, that is in command. They are doing far. Let's not forget offshore, which is about 600 yards behind these 2 canoes. they have a contention. So as we can see, we're headed towards the Fort DeRussy finish line. It is the Illinois Brigade out in front by about 3 or 4 canoes, and then Tahiti, and then offshore. What a race here. The Waikiki skyline greets the Illinois Brigade as they head towards the Fort DeRussy finish line. They have left their nearest competitor, the Tahitian team, in the dust. About 600 to 700 yards behind. They have opened up a commanding lead and no doubt will win this, the 1985 Banco Molokai Hoe. And what were their good points, or the right things that they made, and the Tahitians, what were their wrong, the mistakes that they made?
Well, it's apparent that both of these crews went on more of a southern course, and that doesn't mean to say that they went southern, but everyone else went so radically north. These guys hung down a little bit lower, put them in good shape when they came around Cocoa Head. Their conditioning has got to be a factor.
They've rounded the last buoy. This is it. This is the final stretch home, and they should receive a thunderous applause to the hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that have gathered on Fort DeRussy Beach. We're approaching the 5.5-hour mark. That's unofficial, of course, but it seems that the record set by Outrigger in 1984, just last year, is safe, at least for now. But hey, you never know. This Illinois team came out on fire, and if they're back next year, it's just so possibly that they could break that record. That record could come tumbling down.
Well, certainly when they come back next year, they're going to try and better their time, and they're also going to go for another win. So here now we have another crew not from Hawaii that's going to win the race.
Okay, amid the cheering of an enthusiastic crowd gathered here at Fort DeRussy Beach, they welcome the 1985 champions of the Banco Molokai Hoe. They put their hands together for the Brigade of Illinois, the Illinois Brigade, and congratulations to them as they are an elated bunch of guys.
Good race, good race. The time was 5.
A little under 2 minutes have passed since the Illinois Brigade crossed the finish line, and here you're looking at the second place finishers, the crew from Tahiti. They led for most of this race. They kind of fell apart at Diamond Head, but they put up a good struggle, and they have to be proud of their effort here today. Second place goes to the crew from Tahiti. Well, I'm at the finish line with a very elated Mike Freeze. He's the captain of the boat. And Mike, your assessment of this great race?
Well, we didn't think we could do what we did. But about an hour and a half out, we started looking at each other and realized we were catching the lead team, and there was a chance. About an hour out, we really thought there was a chance. And once we hit Diamond Head and put our big boys in there, we had her nailed down.
Strength, endurance, and all of that stuff had to play a big factor. You guys were fit out there.
Yeah, we have a lot of really top marathon paddlers, and they really did the job today, right at the end when it really counts.
I turn over to your teammate. Your teammate is Tim Treebold. Tim, you guys put on a clinic out there. What is a bunch of guys from Chicago doing in Hawaiian waters, giving Hawaiian canoe paddlers a clinic out there?
Well, for one, we're having a lot of fun. The other thing is, well, we learned a lot from them in the last couple of years, and maybe they'll learn from us. And what else can we say?
Are you guys going to be back next year?
I certainly hope so, yeah.
You're going to have to defend your title. Because
yeah, well, if we have Turbo with us here, we got a good chance.
Turbo. His name is Turbo. Get that. Well, there you have it, the winning captain of the winning crew, the Illinois Brigade. Their time, first overall in the Banco Molokai Hoe, 5 hours, 33 minutes, 4 seconds, a difference of 14.45 seconds off the record time. Number 2, Tahiti, 5 hours, 35 minutes, 21 seconds. Offshore coming in third. They were first overall in the Koa class. Number 4, Kailua. They were the first Hawaiian boat to finish. Their time, 5 hours, 39 minutes and 23 seconds, followed by Kai Opua, the Kona boat, and Hanalei. And Meade, your overall comment about this exciting race?
Well, it certainly had an exciting finish off Kahala all the way around Diamond Head with the lead changing back and forth. Illinois paddled a very strong race, and the fruits of the victory are theirs.
That's right. Just hope they'll be back next year to defend their title. It was a good race. Good working with you.
Nice working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Meade. For all of us here at KITV, thank you for joining us on this KITV Sports Special, the 1985 Banco Molokai Hoe. See you next year.
The Banco Molokai Hoe 1985 has been brought to you by the Bank of Hawaii. We're living up to our name. And by McKesson Wine and Spirits, who bring you light beer from Miller. Tastes great, less filling.
Tuesday night at 6:30, KITV will present Banco Molokai Hoe 1985, a one-hour program featuring the highlights of the men's and women's 34th annual Molokai to Oahu Outrigger Canoe Race. This special is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and McKesson Wine and Spirits, who bring you light beer from Miller. Tastes great, and it's also less filling. That's Banco Molokai Hoe 1985, Tuesday at 6:30 on KITV, your sports station.